Good morning, you guys. I'll tell you what, I am so happy that my neighbor's hens are still laying like a ridiculous amount and that I can just go over there and buy 5 dozen eggs whenever I feel like it, because our girls are not laying, or they're giving us like 5 eggs per week, and we go through like half a dozen to a full dozen of eggs per day here. So yeah, we'll definitely be adding some more hens this spring, I think. The older those kids get, man, they eat and eat and eat. So we have this like adorable little diner nearby called Bee's Snack Bar, and me and Paul used to go there all the time before we had kids. It's a little tiny. It's been around for a really long time, and it's right nearby. And I don't know why, but like her omelets, I would get her omelet with just like American cheese and bacon in it, and it is like the best omelet combo ever. I can't even explain it. That sounds so simple, but like seriously, try it. Like American cheese and bacon in your omelet. It's fantastic. Now this might seem kind of weird to most people because most people love fruit, but I do not eat nearly enough fruit. I literally have to make myself eat fruit because it's not something that I crave, it's not something that I want. Otherwise I will literally go months without touching a piece of fruit. Not great for the well-rounded diet idea, so this is me making myself eat fruit by putting it on my plate to go with my cheesy and bacony omelet. Ran downstairs to the cellar to get a nice big soup bone. This is going to actually be for True, our livestock guardian dog, where it's going to be so cold out tonight. I'm going to thaw this out and then give this to her tonight when the winds start to get real heavy in her housing area that she likes, and she'll have something to fill her belly with while it's super cold out. Hey guys, welcome back to Wicked Quail and Pork Homestead. My name is Bria. I apologize, we did not post an update video for the farmhouse that we are remodeling. Usually I post a video about what we did on that weekend, like Sunday night. It was really cold here Saturday, so we stayed indoors. We were in a negative 45-degree temperature range, and we just got to it just for a couple hours on Sunday, so there wasn't really much to see. We will get you a house remodeling video next weekend, okay? Promise. But for today, we are going to talk about the basics of pigs, and we're talking about like your feeder pigs that you raise for 6 months and then they're gone. We're not going to touch base on anything long term today. We're not going to talk about breeders or anything like that. Today we are just going to do the feeder piglets. It is just about that time when people should start looking for and getting on the reservation list for the area farms that sell feeder piglets. We sell feeder piglets. We sell our Idaho pasture pigs as feeder piglets. That list is pretty well covered. That list grew very quick. People are really interested in that breed. And then we also sell a Yorkshire Duroc cross from a farm that we are friends with out of state, and their genetics are phenomenal. These pigs average 300 to 350 hanging weight at 5 to 6 months of growing them. But feeder pigs, wherever you are, whatever's available to you, is a big thing in the spring. I know here in Maine, like everyone I know raises a couple feeder pigs. So I'm just going to go over some basics here today, and hopefully this will help everybody out. So first, let's talk housing. Feeder pigs that you're only going to keep for like anywhere between 5 to 8 months. As far as housing, they need 3 walls and some decent bedding. That's really it. If you're located where you get a lot of rain, I would suggest doing 3.5 walls so that front wall is still a little covered up. We get a lot of rain and we're still pretty cold until like June, so our spring piglets that are being sold and moved around in March and April need good coverage. Good coverage from rain and wind is how you avoid things like pneumonia. And pneumonia in piglets is a very quick killer. It just kind of knocks them out super quickly. and it's common because they've just been transported to their new farm. They're stressed out, so they're more at risk for those illnesses. So 3 walls and some nice bedding. We use hay or straw for bedding. It's a lot warmer than shavings, and it's also a lot more water resistant than shavings. If shavings just get a little bit wet, they're basically ruined. They're basically no good. Water kind of just runs through hay to the bottom, so they've still got that hay in there, worst case scenario, if they do get a little bit of water in their housing. Feed. So you're gonna have to decide what type of meat you want to raise and what your standards are. Now, you can find basic swine feed at any grain store, and that will do just fine, okay? If that's what you've got available to you, go ahead. I will say hog specific feed is expensive. Here it is up to like $22 for a 50-pound bag. 3 years ago it was like $12 for a 50-pound bag, so it's pretty intensely gone up in price in our area. But some people, that's just the easiest thing to do, is just go to the farm store, grab the pig specific grain and go with it, and that's perfectly fine. Now, our pigs, we actually just switched our grain for everybody, and we've been doing it for about a month, and everybody seems to be thriving on it and doing very well. So now we are feeding oats, flaked corn, alfalfa pellets, and black oil sunflower seeds. Now, I would like to do barley instead of oats, having trouble finding that immediately near me. So I'm going to reach out further once we have a bigger area to store grain and try to switch out the oats for barley if I can. What we do is we bring in a couple buckets every day and we soak them right down and we ferment them inside the house for a couple of days before feeding it out. Now with that, they also get a neutral mixed mineral. That's good for everybody, and I will also start working lysine into the mineral mix as well. Idaho pasture pigs are rotated on pasture because they do eat and utilize the grass. That can be utilized for any breed. I know people who rotate pigs that root a lot, but they still rotate them so that they're not completely beating up on one place all the time, and they're getting all of the nutrients from all the different spots. Rotating your pigs is a good idea if you have the means to do that. Not everybody who's just raising a couple of feeder pigs per year has the means to just move the pigs around, and that's perfectly fine if that's not the situation you're in. We grow a lot of vegetables for our livestock, specifically for our livestock. The pigs get tons of vegetables and fruits, and that contributes very largely to their diet. Animals thrive off of a wide range diet just the same way that we do. So I highly suggest growing some extra vegetables for your livestock, specifically your pigs. Pigs love everything. I haven't found anything that they won't eat. They're not huge fans of peppers or eggplant. My pigs specifically love greens of all sorts. They love squashes of all sorts, tomatoes, cucumbers, but they really do enjoy the greens, especially when I take like whole broccoli plants after I've harvested the broccoli. Throw the whole plant in there with them. They love it. And then the third thing would be your kitchen scraps. Food waste filling our landfills has been an issue for years and years. And one way we can cut back on that is by feeding our kitchen scraps that come out of our kitchen that we know are safe and that we're comfortable with to our pigs, our chickens. Next is fencing. So we do not use anything short of hog or cattle panels for large breed pigs that tend to be a little more destructive. We have used pallets before and they work great, but you have to know what you're doing construction wise to get the pallets to work great. They have to have the proper bracing and the proper support, or the pigs will just tear them right open and walk right through. I know for a lot of the calmer heritage breeds, electric fencing works well and you can electric train them. That's great. If you want to go with that, give it a shot. I would not put your breeds like your Yorkshires and your Durocs in an electric fence. we just attach the panels to T-posts. Attach them strong, attach them with wire or, something rugged. Make sure your T-posts are in the ground a good amount. Make sure that your fencing is very flush with the ground, if not a little bit into the ground, so that they don't feel the need to root up underneath. The key to keeping a pig in a fence is to make sure it's not bored. So those fruits and vegetables will keep pigs happy and entertained. A small pool for them to bathe in when it's super hot out, that will keep them entertained. I've even taken like soccer balls and whatnot and thrown them in the pig pen. The pigs love to play. They love to have something to do. They're very playful natured animals, which is really cute and really fun, but it also means they get bored and they cause destruction wherever they go. So keeping them busy inside the pen, keeping them well fed inside the pen is key to keeping them in. Now let's talk about breeds a little bit. So most people, when they get a feeder piglet, are going to go with a larger, quicker growing breed that finishes in 5 to 6-7 months, like the Yorkshires, the Durocs, Berkshires, Hampshires. All of those larger breeds that you can finish relatively quickly, that's usually what people are getting into. Now, there are some slower growing breeds that, if you don't mind hanging on to something for about a year, give or take, then you'll get a lot more relaxed breed to deal with. They're easier to handle, and they're a little less destructive. They eat a little less, but they do take longer to raise, so that kind of evens itself out. So you've got like the Kune Kunes, the Mangalitsa's. Those are all slower growing heritage breeds. And then like the Idaho pasture pigs are a good medium in between. We really enjoy them because they're done in like 8 to 10 months, depending on how much grain you put them on. So it's not quite a year and a half to feed them, but they still are super laid back and easygoing and easy to handle like the heritage breeds, but they're quicker to grow like the larger breeds. So how you would decide that is you would just look at your situation, look what you prefer. Do you want a monstrous pig that's going to grow super quick and put a lot of meat in your family's freezer really quickly, but you're going to have really tough fencing to keep that pig in? You're going to have to keep it busy so it stays in its fencing, and you're going to have to put it someplace where you don't mind the ground getting rooted up? Or are you okay with a slower growing breed if it kind of doesn't do any of those other things I just listed? I think both are great. I've raised both types. I have a few Mangalitsa's right now. They're just growing for my freezer. I got a good deal on them, so I grabbed them up. They're not going to be huge when I put them in the freezer because I'm not going to wait a year and a half to eat them. They are extremely easy to handle. They are the sweetest girls ever. So that's really up to you, and it's up to what your situation is and what your homestead prefers.
Hi.
Hi. Say hi, friends.
Hi, friends.
So that really is the basics of raising a couple of feeder pigs. It's not hard. Like I said, if you're in a colder climate, heavy bedding, and watch them for things like pneumonia if you're getting heavy rain. Electrolytes will perk up a pig really well and give them what they need to fight stuff like shipping fever that's caused by stress. Every time I move a pig a decent distance, anything over an hour really, I put electrolytes in its water when it gets to where it's going. As far as pneumonia or respiratory viruses, we use Tylen 50 to treat that. It just works really well. It will treat a pig in a matter of a couple hours and they're better. I'm sure there's some more holistic type treatments which I would love to learn about eventually, but for now we know the Tylen 50 works. We only use it if we know the piglet is struggling, and it's just a good conventional medicine to keep your investment alive if it should fall sick to a respiratory virus or disease. Well, I hope this helped a little bit. I hope that this gave you guys the confidence to try to raise your own pigs this year. It really isn't that hard. Just make sure you're buying from a reputable breeder. Look, for customer reviews, talk to people who have had experience with that farmer, and then just give your pig a good, well-rounded diet. And I'll tell you guys, store-bought pork and home raised or locally raised pork might as well be two different animals. They taste completely different. You're getting different flavor profiles. You're getting flavor in general. Store-bought pork is so bland compared to a good home-raised pig. So I hope that's encouraging. I hope that's helpful. And we will talk soon, guys. Happy homesteading.